Yo, 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 yo.
Yo.
Yeah, I can hear you now.
And yo.
2020 coming to 2020 coming to an end, y'all.
Yo, is that like the most anticipated year of all time?
Of course, it's the most anticipated year of all time.
Well, how about when you were like 17 and then the following year, you're going to turn 18? Was that any more anticipating than right now? Or
I
20
think
to 21?
20 to 21.
So, I mean, I don't know about you, but I'll tell you straight up, I wasn't waiting until 21 to drink. I drank before 21. I remember one time, I think I must have been like 19, maybe 20. I was hanging out with one of my boys, and I came home. I think we drank. It was a 40, 99 bananas, I think it was, and it was like some type of 40 with an Indian on the label. And I came buzzed. My mom was like, "What's wrong?" I was like, "I just don't feel good." I didn't tell her what happened. And I think I was like 19, so I wasn't waiting until 21 to drink.
I drank way before that.
Like that's what I'm saying.
15, 14.
So 2021, it just made it official. If you were clubbing or something,
it just made it official. That's all it did. It made it official.
Yeah.
So you don't have to get a bum to get the liquor for it.
Hold
that
right
real
outside.
quick. Yeah, hold that real quick.
Yeah, exactly. Give him the extra 5-piece, just in case, he tries to run whatever. You're like, I'll give you $5, and he'll be like, okay, I'll do it for you. Especially if you're in the hood, they'll do it. Yep. Especially when you know them, they'll do it.
Oh yeah. But today's a jam-packed show. This is 2020, last episode of 2020. We're going to talk about, what we're going to talk about? We're going to talk about 2020, how it rolled.
The year in review. You know how, there's always shows that do, their year in review, right? They always do that. If it's sports, if it's regular, sometimes news, it's the year in review. How about we do a year in review?
Yeah, we is definitely going to do a year in review. That's probably the best thing to do is the year in review. You see that rhyme? I could be a rapper. The best thing to do is the year in review.
You got that nice delivery right there, dude.
I always have that nice delivery. I deliver the drama.
I'll call you FedEx from now on.
FedEx. But 2020 was a crazy year. We had a lot of things going for us. Obviously, a lot of headaches, a lot of pain, a lot of love at the same time. But it rolled. It rolled really well too. Obviously, a lot of people didn't have the things that they wanted this year. A lot of headaches, a lot of heartaches, a lot of breakage. But at the end of the day, you still living. You still got your 10 toes on top of the world. It's 2021 is another day. It's not too cliche to say to that year. This year is going to be my year, and 2021 might be the year for a lot of people.
Like one of the things that I think we always got to kind of look at the silver lining, right? Even though it was a horrible year on so many different levels, there were a lot of good points that we'll talk about that happened. I think one of the best part that I got to say I'm thankful for is that my family were able to stay healthy. I pray for a lot of people out there and their families that weren't. But what was even better than that is the fact that there was a lot more togetherness through it all. The fact that there were lockdowns that happened throughout the year, that you were stuck in your house, with your kids, your loved ones, maybe brother, maybe sister, parents, whatever. The fact that you guys were in that building, right, in that house, and you couldn't go out. Because remember, in the beginning, there was like this kind of shortage of masks out there. And I remember I had to go online and order masks. It was like a 50-pack for $40, and I couldn't visit my dad, until I had the mask and all of that.
It's crazy.
Yeah, but the fact that through it all, we, my family, we were all in the house together. Sometimes you have to be in separate rooms, but still, we end up kind of grouping together and kind of knowing a little bit more about each other. You know what I mean? Because remember, school was also shut down.
School was shut down. It was crazy. School was definitely crazy. It shut down. Everybody didn't. It was one of those years that you just wish it was gone. A lot of homeschooling, a lot of racism has happened this year, a lot of killings happened this year. But also with all those crazy, there's a lot of good things that happened this year. Obviously, a lot of people start doing new hobbies. They kind of adapt to everything they was doing.
Got yard work done.
Yeah, yard work done. People decide to want to go into stocks. People decide to go into podcasting, just like us. People decide to kind of spend time with loved ones because you don't know when that loved one is going to leave or when that loved one is going to pass on. So you kind of learn from 2020. Yeah. It's not the best year we ever had, but keep in mind, there's a lot of bad years previous to this that a lot of people don't talk about. The Great Depression, it was the Jim Crow days, everything like that.
Oh, absolutely. And even if you want to take it to another level of other countries out there, I know in the beginning, I think Italy was one of the countries that was shut down, completely shut down.
Yeah.
You know, but they went through their world wars themselves. You know what I mean? So
Oh, yeah.
there were countries that had some really tragic, tragic. I guess is the best term, but tragic, horrific years. So for them, there's some of them that's still alive that went through craziness just like that.
Yeah, I'll tell you. But at the end of the day, we have what's today? It was Sunday, so we have a couple of more days left to this end of this year, but make it a good one, guys. You got to keep your head up. You got to keep on. 2021 might be a little different. Than might be another thing when Corona might spike up again. You might have a better job promotion, or you might get a newborn. You might get a new house. You might get everything new. So we don't know. You just take one day at a time and just keep it moving, you know. But we are going to talk about the top events that happened this year. No particular order, but we're going to talk about the top events. So we're going to go by it, and we're going to explain everything, and we're going to discuss everything as well.
I'll tell you, like you said earlier, there's been a lot of ups and downs. There's been some key moments that were kind of joyous in its own way, and we'll bring it up in some of these countdowns. But there was some really tragic ones too, and it's amazing when, as we talk about like this year in review, our top 10, kind of like specific moments that there were. It's like you can't get any higher on some of them, and you can't even get any lower than some of them.
Oh yeah. So let me get to OG. Start it off,
All right, so let's see. So let's get this going. So the year in review now. You judge out there. You let us know. You reach out to us on IG. Let us know what you think. You can email us as well. But let's see. We're gonna give you our version of our year in review. Our countdown. So number 10, and I'll get your feedback on it. What do you think? You tell me if you agree with this. Number 10, The Rock buys the NFL. So hear me out here, right? We love the NFL. Wouldn't you like to have another football league? Number 10.
Yeah,
Rock buys the NFL. This was back in August.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, that it didn't go nowhere.
No, he just bought it. He bought it in August. I know it didn't go nowhere. The Vince McMahon version, I think, he hated me. Remember that? He hated me, Tommy Maddox and them. Yeah, Rod Smart, I think, was the player. So that was way back. That was about 10 years ago. They had their own rules. When the season started, because remember, it started right after February, right after the Super Bowl, about a week later. It started off pretty good. You had, like, the Las Vegas team, I think. You have Tennessee, the Nashville team, all of these other teams. I was hoping there was going to be a Providence team, but that's besides the point. I digress. So I thought that it's okay, it's not bad, but the pandemic happened. They went bankrupt. The Rock bought it. After the Super Bowl, do you just get fed up with football, or you want more? If you want more, this should be on the list.
I'm a traditional
the Rock
guy.
Is gonna lead it.
I'm a traditional guy. I like football when it's there, and I like basketball in their season. Then that's it. Obviously, baseball is there too, so you want to see that. But I don't want football all year round. That's my thing.
It's not all year long. It's just an extra 2 months after.
Yeah, that's all year round to me. Almost like that's why I didn't like hockey too much. Feel like hockey is there every single year. So when the Rock bought XFL, it's more of a business move and his part. Yeah. It was nothing. I don't think it's gonna go anywhere. It's hard. NBA can't even overtake NFL when it comes to ratings and come to sports.
In the world, NBA is
huge, but not in the United States.
Okay,
it's still NFL is still one of the most richest sports in the United States.
Yes.
NBA, obviously, they make a lot of money in the world, but it's still number 2, and it's distant. Sometimes they fight against with MLB.
Yeah, that's right.
There too. So NFL is still a big, but XFL, I felt like it's
college football too.
Yeah, college football is big, but obviously is right now is a lot of people a lot of controversy with college football. They should pay the players or things like that. I just don't feel like we need another NFL at all. We got Canada League, we got all of these NFLs. We even have the American Football League. Forget that, we have that.
That we did, but that folded right around that XFL.
Yeah. So that's why we don't need another one.
So since that folded, then and remember the Arena League also folded last year, I believe.
Yeah, that's why we don't need another one.
Orlando Predators. I was like, that's not bad. Because I remember T.O., he was actually right after he got cut by Seattle Seahawks in his final year, he got signed to Orlando Predators of the Arena League, but he just didn't end up wanting to do it. He was like, it was beneath him and all of that. But still, I thought that was, I'm excited. Maybe not you.
Yeah, not excited.
That's fine. All right, so let's move on. The number 9, and this is not in any particular order, but it is kind of symbolic in that it does go to importance along the way. Number 9, the NBA bubble, right? So now,
Yeah.
this is important on a lot of many different levels. So one, it was that this was back in July.
Yep.
This is right around where NBA stopped,
Okay.
MLB stopped, hockey stopped. We had nothing. Now, I don't know about you, but I was able to catch up on a lot of series on TV.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
was able to catch up a lot. Me and my girl, we were able to watch Fires Everywhere. We watched The Walking Dead from beginning to the end.
Mhm.
There was other shows that we just kept on going. But then sports came back, and it was the NBA bubble.
Yeah.
And it was also cool because we never got to see a championship. LeBron, maybe Kawhi, number 9.
See, I like the NBA bubble because it kind of give you a different way of actually playing basketball. And then at the same time, it was a lot of drama in that bubble.
It was.
So whether it's
Damian Lillard.
yeah.
I don't know about you, but I always thought Damian Lillard had a little bit of Iverson in him.
Yep.
And he showed it.
Still ain't going nowhere, but
Yeah,
there's a lot of drama. Whether it's Damian Lillard, Booker, whether Luka Doncic, the Clippers situation, LeBron winning his championship, his 4th championship, there's a lot of drama in that bubble. Giannis losing.
Hey, Kawhi with the finger block.
Kawhi with the finger block. That actually made it a little bit crazy. It was a lot of drama, and it was a lot of things that we did like and we didn't like. But congratulations to LeBron James winning his 4th championship, and I think that was it shows you what you're supposed to do as a commissioner when it comes to any type of pandemic and then any type of crisis. You know how you adapt to different situations, and I like what Adam Silver did with the NBA bubble. Not one case. Yeah. I like that. Now you might got Sweet Lou going to the strip club trying to do his thing. That made news on there. But at the end of the day, it was a great way of doing things. Wow.
Even the walkout too. Remember when Milwaukee Bucks was playing the Orlando Magic in the first round? I don't know if it was game 2 or game 3, but even them, they essentially walked out on the game that otherwise they weren't going to play until they were just served. This was right in Milwaukee.
Yeah.
So they even came out, and I think they wanted to talk to I don't know if it was the governor or whoever in Wisconsin. But even they had something to say about what was going on, and that was
a good one. I like that. I like that NBA bubble. That was a good year on there. So
the other thing too, what I think they also did, they set the precedent for like the other leagues too, because after that, Major League didn't play as well because they were still doing their games. They were playing as well, so I think that same date they didn't play that same game. There were practices that were being run in college. I don't know if it was college or NFL. I think it was NFL. There were some practices because I remember Mike Tomlin for the Steelers. He came out and he had a voice. As a black coach, he had something to say, and he sat down, or at least said that we're not going to practice today.
Sure.
I love the conference with Doc Rivers where he talked about it was mad emotional. He talked about how it's amazing throughout the years. We just keep loving this country, and it's sad that the country doesn't love us back.
Yeah, I see it.
What was your favorite moment of the bubble? Was it Sweet Lou, the head incident?
Nah, not really. I think there's favorite moment of the bubble. Not the finger either. I don't even know what's the favorite moment of the bubble. It was a good thing. I did like the bubble because my boy Clipper didn't make it, but I did like that. Obviously, we had a good matchup, like Giannis losing and Lakers won. So it's all in all, it's a good bubble. Good bubble.
I liked the fact that my Orlando Magic won the first game against Giannis. I like the fact that the Celtics went through 2 rounds and. That's it. There were a lot of other points that I liked. Okay. So, all right, moving on. All right. So, I don't think you're going to like this. And this could have been number 9, maybe in your list, but in my list, it's number 8.
It wouldn't even be in my list. So.
It wouldn't be your list. So I guess maybe
you 2020, you have so many things going on. This wouldn't even be.
It probably wouldn't be. But the reason why I bring it up because I'm such a fan. So, number 8, it came back in January. We got to find out, and it's a spoiler, so if you haven't watched it, I don't know why, but who killed the ghost?
Don't care about it.
You know about that, right? You know that whole
I know about
series?
it.
Who killed Ghost?
I don't care, to tell you the truth. I don't. As I said before, I can't put Ghost in. I can't even put Power in top 25 best.
It's not even that. It's like so. I wasn't around at the time, but there's the show called Dallas back in the day, right?
Okay, I watched Dallas.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
The reruns.
Reruns.
Yeah. So the biggest thing going on in the world was who shot JR, right? Was that a thing?
Yep.
Right? There was every single family member who shot JR. this was kind of our culture moment. Who shot Ghost?
Yeah,
And that's why it's symbolic, because the fact that we had a show. Now, keep this in mind. The network stars, before Power came on, it was just actually like a class, like showing a classic movies type of network. It wasn't like HBO, modern day stuff, trilogies and mysteries. It was this older type of network, older films. And then they came out with this thing called A Power, with Armar Hardwick and so on, right? So after that, it gained and more popular. And then eventually the final season came and Ghost got shot and he died. And we all had that deep breath, like, what the, you know what I'm saying? What the F, right? And who shot him was the question. We got to find out in January who shot him. So that's why he's on my list.
Yeah, no, not even close to my list. Not even close to my list. What's the next one?
All right, whatever. For all you guys out there, we need to damn that Tyreek, but Power Book 2 I still like. Okay. So now moving.
Actually, I watched Power Book 2 the other day. It's actually interesting. Bad acting, but it's interesting. Bad acting.
Who is the best actor then?
Oh, I don't even know who's the best actor.
There gotta be somebody that you think is
Tyreek.
good.
I think Tyreek is probably the closest, but still.
You know what? I will give that to you, because Tyreek went from a dude that we all hated, and there's a lot of my boys that I talked to, including my girl as well, that I spoke to, that hated Tyreek when we found out he was the culprit, right? When he was the dude, right?
I just don't know. I just don't know.
Based on his acting, his method acting, we like him now.
I'm just being very nice. First of all, I've been watching Your Honor, and watching Your Honor versus Power, it makes you feel some different way.
I would say so. First, thank you for taking my advice.
I watch. You know what the funny thing is? The what's her name? Sophia, Black on there, the teacher on Your Honor.
Yeah, the one that was. You talking about the teacher, not the I don't know if it's the public defender or whoever.
Yeah. Fun fact: the teacher of the Power is actually my boy's sister. And she was on the Meg on there. She's actually my boy's sister.
I don't know that.
My boy Kyle Blacksmith. And at the first, he always go on Facebook and say, "Oh, he's proud of his sister." I never knew it at all. And then I saw on the Meg, and I was like, okay, they don't look alike. Because then got blue eyes, little pretty boy that he used to be in basketball. He used to always chill in middle school and actually high school. He was in the basketball team, and he was like just a pretty boy, but he could shoot the rock.
Yeah.
And then his sister is doing big things, being an actress. Hey, it surprised me too. But hey, congratulations to her, because that's a big role for her. So now she's one of the main role.
Yeah. And the other thing about it too is that what's nice about like these drama type of shows, you don't really get typecast. Like let's say you do the same big thing, but you're on a like comedic show. I always feel like you see somebody on a comedic show, you don't see them again.
Yeah, because it's a comedic show. But this is she been doing good. Cool. I think this but it's a good show. I watched 2 episodes of it. It frustrates me how stupid kids are, but it's a good show.
It is a good show. It's a great show, and there is great acting on that.
Yeah,
I agree with you.
Because that's the big difference.
It's different, yeah.
I like great acting. So like when I see Your Honor, then I saw The Undoing, and then I saw then I saw the Defend of Jacob, then I saw like Game of Thrones. I can't go to Power, those type of shows, because
the thing
I don't like it.
The thing with Power, it's not so much as the acting, and I get your point.
Just the idea.
Right. It's the story. Yeah, exactly. It's the story. You know what I mean? It's like the premise of like you have like street gangsters that sell drugs, and then one of them seems to put that life behind him, and he wants to get into politics. As he gets into politics, he starts to essentially overlook some of the people that helped him get big. And now he's also doing other dirtiness, you know what I mean, in his family.
Okay. I like it.
So it's the story that grabs
It's just typical to me. That's how it is. Typical to me. To me. Not to everybody else. To me.
That's fine. So moving on. Number 7, and I think this is probably one of the joy. Now, you probably can relate it a lot more than I can on this one, but I felt the tremors from my kids, and as well as like in one of our group chat, is that after years and years and years, as much as all the bad things has happened, after so much years anticipation, the PS5 launched back in November. The Xbox Series and PS5.
I don't know.
Was it worth the wait?
It wasn't. You know what it is? It's not. It's worth the wait. It's worth the wait.
And a lot of other dudes that I know.
Yeah, it's worth the wait. But you know how hard it was to get that. A lot of people forgot. You have to overpay to get those series. Like you have to overpay to get those type of consoles because because so many bots out there. It's crazy. I didn't remember that type of craziness ever since. Remember Tickety Me Elmo?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That was almost a crazy. I remember two Tickle Me Elmo was worth about $1,000 just for
Same
one.
thing. There was a egg one a couple years ago. Was it?
Yeah, that egg
Crack.
yeah,
Crack egg.
it was just really crazy that
Yeah.
people was doing crazy things just to get PS5 and Xbox Series X. Obviously, it's more PS5 because they started spending up the yin yang. It's like $1,200 just for a $500 device.
But
Now,
some people were buying it just to flip it.
just to flip it. That was crazy. I don't understand. But at the end of the day, you know, people wait. It's not gonna go nowhere. They're gonna have to make more money somehow. You can't just buy $1,200 devices. But
So-
it was a frenzy.
So for people like me, like out there that don't know, how often does a new console come out? Is it every 4 years, every 5 years? How long you wait?
It's starting to be every 10 years.
Wow. So
Because
10
the
years.
last console was 10 years.
So for fans, they've been waiting for 10 years. Now they waited for 10 years till I think it was November 18th, I believe, right around there. They waited 10 years. Now, as they waited, they got on that website, they got in that queue, they waited, they were disappointed. Then they tried again days and days after. Is it better now?
I think it's the same.
So right now, if somebody tries to go and order right now, they're still waiting.
Still waiting. Yeah, I don't even think you can get it right now. But you have a chance to get certain ones. But I bought it. I paid a little bit overpriced for it because I had to buy a controller with it. Now that's their new method. GameStop and all the Best
You wanna
Buy.
buy the controllers?
You have to buy like stupid controllers
Are you
and all that
serious?
stuff. I was so mad. But at the end of the
Wow.
day, it is worth it for me. 'Cause it worked perfectly. It was fast. I played Halo 5. I think it's fast.
Yeah, too bad you can't beat me, Madden. Oh, it actually did.
What's the record, buddy?
I forgot. I should
Yeah,
have even
3 and
brought it up.
2.
Should've never
3
brought
and
it
2.
up.
You talking
Yo,
smack?
can-
Oh
yeah.
no, I got
Yo,
rocked.
can we edit that?
I got rocked the other day in Madden because I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm showing off over here.
Yeah.
I had New Orleans and he
Yeah.
had Kansas City.
Yeah.
I can't play with people who have
So
Kansas
right
City.
now you can play with your console, but then others that have the old one they can still
Yeah,
play.
that's it.
You're
That's
just getting the better like experience.
graphic, the speed of it.
Yeah.
I don't have to wait for loading time. I hate loading time.
Okay,
So it's good.
it's worth
It's
it.
good.
Well, congratulations then.
Yep.
I'll wait till the Nintendo Switch like
Yep.
it comes out. Even though I still got my Xbox. All right. So number 6 on this list, the work stoppage. Now,
Yeah, that was crazy.
other than like strikes, you know, whether it be sports strikes or even stoppage between different unions, you know, and I remember, you know, for depending on where you live, sometimes you might have a utility company that might do some type of strike or stoppage, or even grocery stores. I've seen one along the way in a local supermarket, but essentially the whole country had a work stoppage right around March. That went on for years. There were some people that was working from home. I remember I'm watching TV, and I'm sure you're watching a lot of the same channels I have. You have people working and doing Zoom, right?
Yeah,
Number
you know,
6,
the
work
good thing
stoppage.
about this pandemic, a lot of people realize that a lot of the stuff that you do in a store, you could do at home.
Yeah.
And the work stoppage was crazy. A lot of people, obviously, furlough is not. I'm not talking about people who went through furlough and things like that. But for instance, people work from home, whether it's customer service, sales. You can just do it at home now.
Yeah.
So a lot of companies, what they're doing is doing work at home type situations. I won't be surprised that e-commerce don't blow up. That's why I invested so much in e-commerce for stocks.
Yeah.
E-commerce
I did
is
see
blowing
what
up.
you said, and you were right. In a lot of the investments that I saw you post, a lot of them. I think one of them you had Peloton. You know,
Peloton.
I guess we don't promote
Yeah,
Peloton.
we don't promote Peloton. Obviously, you go to your tax advisor,
That's
but
right.
I promoted Peloton. I did I did Peloton. I did ARK Investments.
Yeah.
I did a lot of Gap because they do a lot of good thing with e-commerce. With I did PVH, which is like an e-commerce store that owns a lot of the clothing lines like Calvin Klein and things like that. It's a big thing.
Mhm.
And companies now, they are just realizing that you don't need to work. A lot of people change their whole commission structure, change
right.
their whole pay. You don't need to go into stores anymore.
Like I've never seen so many parking spots in stores that says pull up and then drop off or roadside or pick up or curbside. There's like so many spots where, you know what, I could just order online, pull up to curbside, they'll just bring it out to me.
2020 is crazy because Amazon went big. Obviously, Amazon went big. Tesla went big.
Yeah.
They went crazy. A lot of people made a lot of money off of craziness. Like I've seen this stock that just because it was battery operated, that they're gonna be the number of stock is gonna.
Sorry, the Robovac?
No. It was like what was that stock? It was Quantum Scopes. QuantumScape is actually like a company that does the battery, who might be doing the battery for Apple new car. It's just crazy. That's another thing. Now that you work from home, you got a lot of hobbies. So work stoppage, what's this doing on? We do a lot of people are day traders now. A lot of people are doing podcasts. A lot of people are updating their resume, figure out if they really want to be in that company.
That's right. Yeah.
On there, it's just people have more courage to do things differently because a lot of people didn't make that much money this year.
That's
Just
right.
how it is. A lot of people didn't make that. I made the least amount of money in my whole career, and then a lot of people just didn't make any money, but you survived.
You survived. You figured a way out.
A lot of people forget you don't need a lot of money to survive.
No, you really don't.
So, and then obviously we have more appreciation for nurses, doctors, frontline workers,
absolutely
on there. But
teachers,
teachers are amazing. But you got a lot of appreciation for them because you don't want to do it because distance learning and things like that was tough for a lot of people.
Yeah, that's another point too, especially if you have kids.
Yep.
And you're trying to help them out in distance learning, and then also trying to work from home as well. So that was one of the challenges. But essentially, you end up figuring a way out.
Oh yeah,
and figuring it out.
And people wasn't really used to being at home for so long because you always on the move. America is always on the move. On there, it's only in the United States that we have people who have to work 40 hours a week.
Yeah.
And people forget that. And back in the countries, other countries, they don't work 40 hours a week. It's just the United States. And then the work stoppage kind of make you appreciate family and kind of make
countries,
you,
I think, work six days, right? Yeah.
They're not even 6 days, 4 days. They do 4 days. Some countries do work 4 days.
I thought it was
like Germany and those places, they don't work that much on there, but they survive on there. Obviously, I hope in this list is other things that made this work stoppage really even more clarifying and also a little bit different.
That's right.
So,
well, we'll definitely get down the list as we go. So number 5, let's get this on a positive note. And I think what number 5 did, it kind of brought us together. Now, not necessarily together, all like a concert, but it was kind of like a concert. And then my number 5 is the versus battle.
Yeah.
Now, there's been a lot of verses over these past 10 months. Now, specifically, I want to start, or at least bring it up, and you can tell me if there was any other verses that you liked along the way. I know there was so many other verses, but it starts off with the classic dogs themselves, Snoop versus DMX. We had our own podcast episode. We had Mags on. This was, what was it? This was back around July. Mags joined. This is a couple episodes after we started, but DMX, so that was a classic.
I think that was the good thing about verses, and it was a great idea for Swiss Beats and Timbaland to actually do. That was a great idea. So obviously that's one of my favorite verses. And then it was some verses I realized that the artist is just it wasn't like Nelly versus Luda. It wasn't Nelly wasn't the one, and then Fabulous versus Jadakiss. I felt like Fabulous picked the wrong music on there.
Yeah.
But it's some verses that we still waiting for.
We
still waiting for some verses, but the great thing is about verses that you kind of celebrate life or celebrate music while you're at home.
Yeah.
So that's a good thing about verses because it wasn't really about versus who DMX versus
it was because essentially there was no scorecard, right? There
was no scorecard.
Everybody had their opinion.
Yeah, everybody's still gonna do their little scorecard.
Yeah, that's right.
But it's no scorecard on there. Next year, if they start doing the verses again, they have to get the bigger acts now. Obviously, they got the big acts over there, but we still waiting for the Drake and the Jay-Z, the Beyonce, the Mary J. Blige.
Is the T.I. part of that list?
Yeah, the big guy. We could say T.I. too. But
Kanye should be
the Dr. Dre's. Those are the type of ones we want. Those big ones. It's never gonna happen, but it's gonna happen.
So, real quick before I go to the other verses, you said Dr. Dre, right? We know what he produced. Now, remember when he came out with "Been There, Done That," right? When he did that, the aftermath.
Been there,
done that, which was a hot beat. Then he still forgot about Dre and so on. So with him, do you think he has, as an artist, 20 hits? Do we think that?
Oh, what? Dr. Dre?
Like,
as an artist, yeah.
Because I guess you're including some features, right?
I'm not even talking about features. He has the Chronic album. He has the Aftermath. You have he got it.
Okay.
He got it. He got it on there. He got 20 hits.
Maybe I got to be reminded.
Question is, he have if he has how many hits he has as a producer?
See,
gotta be
there's
over
no
hundreds.
question whatsoever as a producer.
Hundreds.
None whatsoever.
But you can't put him in that. Just the same thing with like P. Diddy.
Yeah.
Like we know as a producer, entrepreneur, he has so much, but if you think about it, most of his hits, he really have as an artist, crazy amount of hits. Besides like the family, he didn't even family.
Some May stuff.
Yeah, some May stuff, Last Train to Paris and things like that. Did he do
anything with Shine, or was Shine?
Shine by his own self.
Yeah.
But Last Train to Paris.
Last Train to Paris. That was like Dirty Money. That was great.
Dirty Money.
That was great.
But it wasn't hits. It was good songs, but it was hits.
Funny story to Dirty Money. I didn't know this, that he actually asked for permission from T-Pain to do the auto-tune. Did you know that?
Oh, right? Because he invented it.
Well, so at the time when auto-tune started to become hot, T-Pain was kind of the front face to auto-tune, right? Because he was
Yeah.
doing it, strip. I'm in love with a stripper, right? He was doing that. So when that was becoming a thing, at that point, P Diddy, I was reading this article about it. He actually emailed or called up T-Pain and asked, "Hey, can I use that? And I'll give you royalties to Dirty Money. The last train pack. I'll give you money for that." And T-Pain was like, "You're asking me? Yeah, you could use it. He didn't invent it, but T-Pain was the face for it." But it's funny, like out of all people, P Diddy would actually ask for permission to use something. Well, otherwise, he was already a conglomerate.
Good for that, homie. So
now the second verses that I don't know if it's number 2 on your list was the Jeezy Gucci. Years and years of having that animosity.
That was more for the culture, I think.
Well, that was great about it because it was. You had an excellent piece in one of the episodes. You talking about how like we keep killing each other. You mentioned King Von, you Pop Smoke, and so many others on there of artists that eventually get killed. In the game, right?
Yeah.
This was one where like these two dudes had that type of beef, but other than one dude getting murdered in the beginning, but essentially they ended up squashing it. You know what I mean? So, you know what I mean?
I tell you, Versus was a great event. They did a good job with Versus when it comes to Timbaland and Swiss Beats. I was surprised when they did the first Versus with obviously Timbaland and him. It was crazy, and they did other things like Mike Will Made It, things like that. Those are crazy.
Yeah, the Monica Bread.
Yeah, a lot of people forget about the producer beef, producer beats, and
Scott Storch.
Scott Storch. That was good. That was good, and make you kind of remember.
Was it
the
him
music.
against Manny Fresh? Was it?
Scott Storch, yeah, it was Manny Fresh.
Yeah. From
so it was good.
Boys, yeah.
So it was good. That was good. Good to have the verses. That was a new category in our lives that we want to.
It was,
remember.
and I'll tell you because remember this is kind of during work stoppage. A lot of it is that there was kind of this anticipation and waiting to like it's almost like back in the day when you had like that big boxing match that you knew was on pay-per-view. You couldn't wait. Now obviously I couldn't afford it and pay for it, but come Sunday I was waiting to see on TV on ESPN them talking about it. Versus gonna sit there except I was able to see it.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Yeah. But hey, that was good. That was good.
So now the number 4 on this list touches on something a lot more serious than just the name by itself. And number 4 is the George Floyd I Can't Breathe, where as we saw in the video, I think it was in Minnesota, where that police officer put his knee on his neck and killed. So essentially what that did, that brought a closer look at the injustice and brutality of police officers against predominantly like black kids, brown kids, black people, all together. There's other names, Breonna Taylor, on the mix as well. So what do you think about that as far as...
I think George Floyd, and rest in peace to George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, who else? Ahmaud Arbery. That type of, it kind of sparked the outrage of what we've been talking about for so long, and that's the ignorance of white folks.
Right. It's like we got to see it on video.
Yep. I used to actually, I tell you, someone told me, then why did they videotape it? Because if you don't videotape it, things like this will never happen. We'll never see.
Yeah.
I actually thank him because at the end of the day, his bravery, and it's not really bravery, his death kind of led to a lot of things happening in 2020.
I know. That's what I'm
it
saying.
was not always about the coronavirus. It's about the people are dividing, whether it was Republican versus Democrats, police officers, black people, white versus brown, things like that. It divided the country. And it showed a lot of people their true colors. So whether you like them or not, I had a couple of friends that I didn't even know that they thought that way. And I see them now, I'm like, I don't even talk to them. So
there's a person, I don't want to throw them out there. It's a female, and you're right. I didn't like. So I live in Rhode Island, right?
Yep.
In Rhode Island, when it came down to voting, one of the questions was, do you want the name Providence Plantation removed from the title? Now, as a black person, you would look at it and you would say the plantation name, it's a negative connotation to like what that symbolizes, right?
Yep.
This person that I know, and it's one of the best person I've met, said, no, they should leave it because it's history. I'm like, what? The history? Are you understanding what that history means? And it's like, until that happened, you didn't know how they thought.
So as I always say this, and I always say this again, people don't want to change history. You know what's the biggest difference between Germany and the United States? Germany is they have the Holocaust.
That's right.
They try to
Yeah.
get rid of that whole situation. They don't even mention it. They didn't even talk to it. Most
They
of
don't
them,
talk about Eldor, Hitler.
and they don't talk about
Nothing.
United States. They tend to want to keep their history. Everybody
Like what,
knows
the statues,
the statues, the plantations,
Yeah.
even
The
Thanksgiving,
names.
their names.
Yeah.
Now they changed it Indigenous People Day as well. They don't want to change their history because they think it's unpatriotic. But when you have a hat that says "Make America Great Again," when was America ever great? Great for who? White people? I always say this. I know someone that I don't know him personally, but he had a free house because his uncle died. Had a free house. You ever see a black person have a free house because their uncle died? A lot of people forget about the VA loans. What happened to the VA loans? A black person could actually fight the war besides a white person, but as soon as they get home, they still black. So they don't get no VA loans. They start redlining. They start putting all these black folks in a different type of section and then call it the ghetto on there.
Yeah.
And then
redlining.
at the end of the day, then when the ghetto's too good, what they do? They pre-gentrify it and they gentrification and they fix up the ghetto and made the white folks just go in there. And guess what happened to the black
Raise
folks?
up the cost.
Raise up the cost, can't afford it.
Such,
You already can't figure out how to get a job because it's so if you look at the NFL, it's why isn't that much black people and black coaches, but NBA is so much black coaches. And you see how that works? So in the NFL,
I'm still waiting for a black owner in the NFL.
I still wait for a black owner. But hey, guess what? Hey, a lot of people they expose themselves to
They did,
They expose the prejudices, or they expose the being blinded by racism and blind who just don't even care no more.
Yeah,
so
that's right.
at the end of the day, 2020 it was a lot of bad, but this was one of the good. Obviously, his death wasn't good.
No,
but on the light of it, there's a lot of craziness we saw from 2020.
And I loved how the NBA stars, athletes had the jerseys, with the positive message for civil rights, with the Black Lives Matter on some of them, say her name, in reference to Breonna Taylor, her death. And that was a thing that came up as well, in courts. I think it was Kentucky. Was it Kentucky?
Kentucky,
yeah. So that was a thing too. So, and I think even Luka had some type of message in his own language as well, so that way his people could understand what the meaning of it was. So there was some of that too that I thought was awesome as well.
And as I said before, it's not going to stop. 2021 might get another crazy. I just saw something 2 days or today actually this morning of Arlo Hotel that for some reason I see this happens a lot for us black folks. A white lady said that some 14-year-old stole his phone, her phone.
Yeah,
that's the phone she said was stolen. She left in an Uber. But
really?
since like any black person can't have an iPhone as well.
Yeah, exactly.
So
like they can't afford it.
So like we can't afford it. Sometimes I see some of my friends, and I know I make way more money than them, but at the end of the day, they act like like they're complaining about a $600 stimulus package, the $1,200 stimulus package, $2,000. Hey, get it? I get it. Like, people need their money. But at the end of the day, this whole bickering about who's this, who blamed this, it just needs to stop.
Yeah,
because at the end of the day, you gotta live on. You gotta live on. 2020 has just been crazy when it comes to racism, prejudice, and even justification, even misogynistic views and things like that.
And I know you got a lot of pushback too on Facebook, so I know that.
Yeah, I don't get
pushback. I'm saying I know I don't go on there as much as you, or not that much, but I know you got a lot of pushback. You would think otherwise. Some people just want to argue with you just because you have a point of view and they don't want you to get the last word.
I always say this: people don't agree with you until you agree with them.
Yeah.
So that's why I don't pay
regardless of what you say, right?
Yep.
Would you agree?
It's an opinion. You could say one thing. I have, as I said before, this whole election thing that happened on there. If I guarantee, if I say Trump was the best president, all those cats who disagree with me will come to my comments and say, "Oh yeah, I knew you're definitely the best president." Well, but you have a disagreement. It's not a lot of presidents I think is great. Not a lot of presidents. I don't even think Obama was great, but he was the change that we needed.
Yeah, he was the change that we needed. I would actually argue that he was a good president.
He was a good president, but he had his flaws, but he was a good president.
Yeah.
I see a lot of you can't say Abraham Lincoln was a very honest president, but that doesn't mean he was a great president. Like you have to think about it with all the situation with his slaves. Yeah. Then after Abraham Lincoln, you had one of the worst presidents that you have after Abraham Lincoln.
Was it Ulysses S. Grant? Was that him?
No. It was
Andrew
Thomas.
Jackson? No, it was Ulysses
and no
Grant.
Jackson.
Andrew Jackson.
Yeah. So
because he was part of also getting rid of Indians
yeah,
as well.
yeah. So
The Trail of Tears.
it was the one right next to him after Abraham Lincoln.
It had to
Yeah.
be Grant.
After, and a lot of people forget this, but after Abraham Lincoln, the president after him did not actually view black people as people. 3/5 is a man, they say.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, how many great presidents did we really have?
Yeah, true.
And then
even George Washington, there's a lot of things of him being a
Yeah.
slave owner, not actually giving any type of credit to them whatsoever as people.
Yep.
Even though they were the ones that would actually
Did
work the country to
Yep.
build the country.
They try to say Ronald Reagan was a great president.
I think he was horrible.
Wasn't a great president.
he had certain laws and rules that were drug laws to capture black people.
Yep.
So otherwise, there was a way to essentially like convict them to put them away.
Yeah, think about it. 13th Amendment was there. You say Bill Clinton was Bill Clinton made us go in a big Great Depression because of all the craziness with the housing. So and he got his dick sucked in office, but at the end of the day, Monica.
Yeah, Monica still.
Don't tell me how many. It was the presidents and people, and that's why I say I love young people now because they notice.
Yeah,
they're realizing old people in general. You cannot let them look at old people. You cannot let them and not have a mom and I have grandparent, but you cannot let them. Right now, they can't even figure out their iPhones, but let alone you're gonna try to make them vote for.
I love them Prudential. I don't know I don't know what insurance company it was, where it shows like the teaching how to use their phone, the volume is this.
They can't work their iPhone, but you making them vote.
Yeah, you're making them vote.
See how that works?
Yeah.
Old people can use their iPhone, but you're making them vote.
Yeah.
And and you try to say, oh, we're trying to teach our kids, but you're making old people vote. And then and this is not being raised against old people, but they don't understand now. They still stuck in their ways, and they're never going to change. Just like when you have a kid whose parents are cops. Of course, they're not going to understand the different ways of why certain cops are targeting us black folks, but they have an upbringing. It's just how it is in life. So if I tell my two boys, can't stand this certain person for color, I guarantee when they grow up, I can stand that person because of color.
It's funny you say that. I was thinking that too the other day. It's like essentially like I'm a big influence on my kids.
Yeah.
Whatever I do, however I act, I'm essentially who they essentially look up to.
Yeah.
And then mimic what I do.
Exactly.
It's not a coincidence sometimes when you have parents and their kid end up kind of somehow doing a lot of the same profession.
And George Floyd death showed that in light, and there was other deaths in the whole 2020. Ahmaud Arbery can't even go for a run without getting shot. Breonna Taylor can't even sleep. They raided his house. It was the other one too when the cops walked into the wrong apartment saying thought it was her apartment and killed the man. The young man.
Breonna Taylor?
No, it was a different person. It was a different person. And we got the Starbucks incident. That was this year, right? The Starbucks incident.
Yeah.
We had the Starbucks incident. Homeboys can't even wait for someone to actually, and then you have so many black folks is getting cops called on them because they're in the wrong neighborhood.
There was one too. There was a college kid that was staying at the coach. I forgot what coach it was, but it was black kids that was staying in the house of one of their coaches. The coach's wife died, right, and he was away, so the house was vacant. He allowed his black, I don't know if it was 2 or 3 of his black athletes to stay in his house, right, while he was away doing something. The neighbor saw the black kids in the house, called the cops on the black. The cops came, and at that point said, "What are you doing here? Don't move." They're like, the coaches said we're supposed to be here. He goes, "Well, we heard about a break-in. They had to stand still, not move." And then you would think the neighbors, because the neighbors knew the coach very well, you would think the neighbors would call the coach and say, "Hey, there's people in your house. Are you aware of this?" No. What they ended up doing is calling the cops and said that there's these black kids in our neighbor's house and come over, and the cops came, right? Why? Because just the fact that you feel like they don't have any type of relation with a white coach, like, you know what I mean? So it's kind of that type of ignorant way of thinking.
2020 made a lot of white people know how black people feel every day. You can't even go to Airbnb. You can't go to a hotel without being discriminated. You can't even look for a house without being discriminated. You can't do anything.
That's right. The last thing I want to bring up to this is that I think it was telling of all of this with George Floyd when the NBA bubble started off, right? And you remember in the beginning, the opening ceremony, I know Jonathan Isaac, he didn't stand, disappointed at that as a Magic fan, but a lot of other players and coaches did, right? And the black coach, white coaches held hands. So Doc Rivers said during the opening ceremony for about a minute and a half, they were on their knees on that hard cement. he said in one of the conference calls, right, that for a minute and a half he was on his knees and his knees was hurting. Imagine for just about that same length of time or a little bit more that officer was on George Floyd's neck. His knees was hurting too, but he didn't lift his knees one time.
He had his hand in his pocket.
Yeah. So as Doc Rivers' knees hurt just for being on the court, the officer's knees must have hurt being on George Floyd's neck, but he didn't lift once to do it. That was telling through it all.
George Floyd, rest in peace, Breonna
Absolutely.
Taylor, George Floyd, Ahmaud Arbery, all the loved ones who died because of police brutality or racism in this world. Rest in peace, okay?
So number three is kind of in one of those sorrow fields of 2020, and maybe it seems that these names or this situation gets amplified more so because of everything else that's going on, or maybe this was just the kind of year that it was, right? Maybe this was the type of year that the worst of the worst was going to happen. And number three is celebrity deaths, right?
Yeah.
So D, I'm going to go over some names and tell me what you think. Now, do you want me to go name by name, or you want me to just go down the list? I'll go name and you tell me.
It's
You
a
tell me
lot
what.
of celebrity deaths.
So how about I do this, right? I'll say a name and the first thing that comes to mind, right? Here we go, right? Alex Trebek,
Smart man.
Sean Connery,
James Bond.
Eddie Van Halen,
Rocker.
Ruth Bader Ginsburg,
Intelligent woman for all kind.
absolutely. John Thompson Jr. And I know you love your Georgetown,
Hoya, Patrick Ewing,
your Alonzo Mourning, your Allen Iversons,
Patrick Ewing, Allen Iverson. Legacy.
I get goosebumps right now. Chadwick Boseman,
The original king of Wakanda.
Regis Philbin,
Genius as it is.
Kelly Preston. You know,
Yep.
I know Kelly, just the last name, but Kelly
beautiful.
Preston. All right, here we go. Let's see. Jerry Stiller.
Ooh, funny.
I like that. That's a good one. Little Richard.
Surprising.
All right. So I'm gonna throw a twist here. Before I throw the twist, here's another name. Kenny Rogers.
You know, I did not know he died.
Yeah.
At first, it was like surprising to me, but he was
no when to fold them.
Yeah, it was crazy. So that was a crazy death too. But you see so many people that died, and then obviously it was one too. Is obviously Mamba.
That's my next name, Kobe Bryant.
That was tragic because it was not even because Kobe Bryant as well as Gianna. Yeah, because I did not, and all the loved ones who died. It was about 7 of them as well. It was a lot of kids. I don't like when kids die. You know, that's my thing.
It's also the fact that like it happened in a tragic, gruesome way.
Yeah.
Because like the thing with Chadwick is that he didn't tell anybody, but he knew, and you see that what he did for those 4 years. Yeah. He did the movies because you know that money. He wasn't going to keep that money, right?
Not at all.
There's no reason for him to do the movie, but he knew that essentially what that did, it empowered Black kids to look at a superhero that was not Captain America, or otherwise. I know you brought up the Hulk. His skin was different. Some of the other white superheroes along the way, Superman, Batman, all of them. He just wanted to inspire kids, but also he loved doing it. And I think the other thing too, and I'm just going to throw it out there, I think he also did it because the money that he would receive from it
would go to his wife.
Exactly.
Yep.
It keeps them stable going forward, keeps a future for them going, along the way. So he knew that was coming. Kobe didn't know that. Kobe hopped on that helicopter with Gianna.
Daily routine too.
Daily routine on his way, and it just happened so tragic. And I think that's what made that so more heartbreaking along the way. That was
hard. It was because it was other kids and that I hate when kids die too. Other kids on the helicopter, other parents. It was just tragic. It was called that. That was like the first. If you think about it, that was the first death that caught us tragic. We should have known that something was going on with 2020. That was like the first one. Because think about it, that was like in February around that time. Yeah, that was a tragic death. That was something that we caught off guard. Then Chadwick Boseman, I got caught off guard with that one. Like there was no tomorrow. That was caught off guard. One day I was just watching TV. All of a sudden I got something on my phone that said Chadwick Boseman died of colon cancer. And colon cancer is a mug because a lot of people forget that is a very common cancer that kills a lot of people.
And you gotta get like your testings too. You have to
Yeah.
go and get
Especially
tested
men.
for it. Yeah, yeah.
Man, you gotta get your testing because you don't know. Your loved one is dependent on you, regardless of anyone. Your women, men. I know breast cancer is big too. You gotta get your testing, no matter what.
Pop Smoke.
You know,
He didn't blow up here, but it seems like he blew up once.
yeah, that was a rising star. I would say
Rising
that
star.
one that
Because 50 especially was the sponsor, right? 50.
I didn't
was
know
gonna-
Pop Song for in general, but I heard a couple of songs.
The
and
Woo,
the Woo, that was a good song.
Yeah, it was, yeah.
It was very a rising star. I knew him now. He was almost like when last year when Nipsey Hussle died.
Yeah.
And I was surprised when Nipsey died last year. So Pop Song was good. Pop Song was good. He was a rising star. Listen to his songs now because obviously he passed.
Yeah, so you're not gonna hear any more.
Exactly.
Like tracks that otherwise they have.
I think the most tragic death of a rapper was Tupac for me because I was a big Tupac fan.
You know what's funny? When Tupac died, I was in a homeroom and I forgot what grade I was, and I don't know how that got spread in the homeroom. And this was early in the morning, so it must have happened the night before. Or it was homeroom. I'm telling you, that homeroom, me, everybody at home, like we all looked down, and it's like I forgot what grade we were in, but when Biggie died, I don't know where I was. I heard it. I was sad.
It was at night when Biggie died. I was at night.
Yeah, the Tupac must have been in the morning because I was in homeroom, and when I heard that, as was the other classmates. We were down. That was
that was tough for me. When Tupac
he
died
died first, so maybe kind of almost
he died
we
first.
got used to it. So maybe when Biggie died out,
because Biggie died almost a couple of months afterwards. It was kind of crazy. Well, Tupac died. The only reason why I like Tupac so much, you see him everywhere, whether it's movies, you see his poetry, you see his rap, and Tupac was out way longer than Biggie. Biggie just made a good impact on a lot of people, but Tupac was my guy.
Yeah, he was.
And then not seeing him in movies anymore was like kind of dropped me crazy, things like that.
First rapper to do a double album.
Yeah. I was
All Eyes on Me.
Yeah, and then obviously Biggie was phenomenal because I'm from New Jersey, so that was like a big one too. And then all these conspiracies start coming and everything like that, just like what Pop Smoke, all the conspiracies start coming and things like that of him showing his address where he was at, and then it was just crazy.
Yeah.
And this is, as I said before, we're gonna have to make it a thing that rappers think that it's still cool not to be a gangster. That's all I gotta say.
But be an entrepreneur, right? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it is cool
Make
not to
money
be a
like
gangster. It's very cool not to be a gangster.
Yeah.
So no more of that, Black on black crime needs to stop.
One last name, and I don't know who this was, and I had no idea she died this year. Diana Ring. I don't know who that is. I'll tell you who it is. Do you know who that is, Diana Ring?
No, who's that?
So we all love, me and you, as well as millions of people, we all love Game of Thrones. She died this year. One of the characters from Game of Thrones.
Oh yeah, the beautiful
from the
curly hair.
for the Tarly.
Yeah, the curly hair one who was assistant for the Queen of Dragons.
No. I don't know if she died. If she did, I don't know that. No, the one I was thinking about is the grandmother, the one that poisoned Joffrey.
Yes. Oh, I remember her.
Remember the grandmother?
Yeah. The one that poisoned
Joffrey.
Yeah. That was I gotta watch Game of Thrones one more time.
But remember, she hated Joffrey and she didn't want Joffrey to marry her granddaughter, and then she ended up getting bombed anyway. But so she died this year. I had no idea.
Yeah, I actually did see that before. That was a good poison, though. But
yeah, his face was purple.
Yeah, he was dancing.
I was glad Joffrey got killed.
He was dancing.
Man,
I can't stand Joffrey. But yeah, God rest in peace to all the celebrities and the icons that actually died this year. You will always live on. Chadwick Boseman, Diana Ring, Kobe. You always live on, regardless of your music will live on, your sports will live on, your movies will live on. It's just how it is, man.
I tell you, Alex Trebek, as a kid, that was like the show where my parents watched. That's how I got into Jeopardy. So that was the first kind of like super, I guess superstar of TV.
Think about Regis and Kelly. I used to love that. I used to love that show. I used to watch before I had to go to school. Yeah. It was good. You will be missed. So I don't want everybody because we're reaching the age that you're gonna see a lot of deaths that is gonna surprise us.
That's right.
So I still can't fathom some of my favorite actors and actors and rappers and singers dying. So it's gonna be one of those tough. I know in the next 10 years we're gonna keep on coming here and say rest in peace to someone.
Yeah,
it's reaching the age that some of our favorite actors and actresses and rappers and singers they're reaching that age.
That's right.
So unfortunate, but You live your life to the fullest. It goes.
It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. All right. So moving on. There, we're getting down to number one, right? And then number two, Joe Biden named president of the 46th president of the United States back in November, and it took like 4 or 5 days.
Yeah.
We had to wait for the other.
It took a month actually. It took like a couple of weeks.
Well, it did. I felt by day 4 or 5 the need, but then again, Georgia did step up.
Yep.
Georgia showed up out of nowhere. I think it was Saturday, Sunday. Georgia said, "Hey, wait, I'm here. I know the party started. I'm late, but fashionably late, but I'm here." You know what I'm saying? So I'm here. Arizona was like, yo, you know what I'm saying? Yo, he called our dude out. Yeah, we're not going to take any of that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We ain't that. So it took a while, but Joe Biden, the new president, January 21st, I think he's taking over.
Yep.
Joe Biden, number 2. Was that the number 2 most exciting thing of 2020? All these news breaking, I guess?
I think that was the most surprising thing of 2020 because he came out of nowhere in the first year, and then we didn't really put him in the radar because we had Kamala Harris being president, we have Bernie Sanders hopefully being president, and Joe Biden came along and just took our hearts. Obviously, we want to know what he's going to do. I still want to make sure politicians do their jobs because whether you're Republican or Democrat, we still got to make sure they do their jobs on there. The most surprising part is everything that Trump supporter, I'm not going to say Republican, but Trump supporter complained that Democrats do, they're doing now. Whether it's marching, protesting, denying, not my president. Same thing that we remember 4 years we said that with Trump when a lot of people were saying that with Trump, and now look at the Republicans. As I said, it's never was about never was about people not supporting them and blah blah blah. It's about they just do not get it.
That's right. As
long as you don't agree with them, they always have a complaint.
They're gonna come out.
Always have a complaint.
I was watching those debates, the presidential debates that was going on, and essentially like the way, I don't know, and I know Chrisley was Chrisley, right? Chrisley.
I don't know.
Like the
guy?
New Jersey, the former governor of New Jersey, Chris Chrisley.
I don't know.
Yeah, he was there to kind of like teach the response method.
Chris Christie?
Thank you. Yeah. Chris Christie. He was there to
Governor Christie.
Yeah, governor. Yeah, exactly, for New Jersey. So he was there to help Trump with the debate, and I think he ended up getting the coronavirus like later on too as well. But he was there to essentially, I know, right? He was there to essentially help out with Trump with the way he was going to respond to do the debate, and essentially, like, I don't know if that was Chris's method. Hey, whatever he does, just attack him personally, because he had no actual point, no political point overall. His idea was that, hey, I'm just going to bully him. Otherwise, people of the United States see that I'm just going to be a stronger, more voice opinionated guy. I'm a louder talker than him, and that's how I'm going to win. And I don't know if that necessarily worked.
That didn't work, and at the end of the day, it was more people actually celebrating when Trump lost than anything else.
It's funny. That's actually the perfect narrative. Is that as I was watching these parades in Washington D.C. Now, clearly they had their signs, Joe. But it's funny. I didn't see a lot of these parades in other future presidential wins. It was more like they would just celebrate that. There was no more. There was actual people with signs with F Trump because they were just happy he wasn't the president. They didn't care who it was.
They didn't care. And that was that's telling because I think if it was a stick as a president, they still would have voted for stick. That's how bad the people didn't like Trump. And you could say the vote. A lot of people voted for Trump, but we all. It's almost comical when a Trump supporter talks because they don't know what the hell they talk about. Not all. I'm not gonna say all of them, but most of them don't know what the hell they talking about.
They just know that I don't like him, and I don't care who he. You know what I mean?
They put Trump as a non-politician, but Trump just took all their money.
Yeah, true.
See, that's how it works.
Yeah. Now he wants to live in Mar-a-Lago, I think.
Yeah, he just took all that money.
I mean, it's funny because I think that's how Trump won the first time.
Yeah.
Is that they didn't want a politician; they wanted a guy that wasn't like politically, one-sided or the other, guy that was going to run the country, make us money, whether it be 401k, investments, whatever it is. But essentially, I think what they got is a loudmouth that essentially felt like, my way is the right way, and insulting others was also the other way. And
then it works. 4 years of headaches and misery, 4 years of craziness, 4 years of not denouncing white supremacists, 4 years of basically taking credit for every good thing, but don't take credit for any bad thing.
Yeah, that's right.
It's crazy. I just saw he took credit of having Ohio State, the Big Ten back in playing, and all of a sudden he didn't take credit when they got a lot of corona.
So when they were shut down, they didn't start until like I think November. I think it was.
He take credit for
5 games in. They only have 5 games in right now.
He take credit for every single good thing, but never take credit for the bad thing.
Yeah, exactly.
And then he tried to say, "Oh, we had the best year for stocks." Hey, eventually you would have had the best year for stocks
because it plummets like that.
It was so low that you have to go up.
Exactly.
So, hey. Trump, do your thing, baby.
I will say though, one of my, I guess we'll tie this in to Biden, is I did love Kamala Harris when she had her debate with Mike Pence, where Mike Pence would try to like interrupt. Hey, Kush, stop. I'm speaking.
Yeah, come on.
Pence had to, settle down.
For 4 years, everybody knew he wasn't supposed to be there. And you can have your Trump supporters could say whatever he wants, but his presidency. What one good thing that Donald Trump did for his 4 years of presidency? Like, tell me one good thing. You trying to say that stimulus package was a good thing? That wasn't a good thing. It's the reason why he was in the stimulus package, because homeboy didn't want to approve the freaking vaccine that Pfizer was giving him. Or he tried to neglect the fact that it was a coronavirus. Listen, every presidency has its time and has his shining moment. Barack Obama had the LGBTQT situation that he approved same-sex marriage. He has the Obamacare that it wasn't even supposed to be Obamacare, it's Affordable Act Care. And he has the killing of Osama bin Laden. You have 3 great things. Think about what George Bush by himself was heroic for 9/11, and people hate George Bush. 9/11. Bill Clinton was about the housing. And what did Donald Trump did? What one great thing Donald Trump did for 4 years? Let me know. If we put that on, email us, put it on Facebook. One great thing Donald Trump did for 4 years. And that sums up 2020 in a nutshell. We got rid of it. We got rid of the problem, and hopefully we can fix it for 2021.
Yeah, and the other thing too, what Biden also said that upon picking his entire cabinet staffing, he had a lot of more diverse. He had females. He had African Americans in there. I think he had Hispanic Americans in there. He had so many more diverse individuals running different cabinet levels. I think one of them was also in the military. It was Lloyd Austin, Secretary of Defense. So beyond the fact that he was just voted president, taking over for essentially what we felt was, us being handcuffed in a way to the presidency of Donald Trump, is that he also ended up having to name a lot of different diverse people to the actual cabinet, which, you got to applaud him for that. So, and then number one, number one, I think it's without any pushback whatsoever, is that and the vaccine was approved by the FDA. First, Pfizer was the first one approved, and number one on the list is that number one.
So I probably would put the election number one, but number one vaccine, it just sums up 2020. We fixed everything. Now we're gonna move forward to 2021.
It's funny. It started bad, but we just fixed what started bad.
Yep. Now we're moving forward to 2021.
It's funny because if we go back to the whole Trump situation, we'll kind of link them in or do a transition from that. Is we wouldn't actually be in this situation if otherwise Trump didn't actually ignore the fact that there was, because remember he did say, hey, I didn't want to disturb or worry the American people, with this issue that was happening in China. He thought, we have a control over it. It's happening. There were people on like that cruise line that he tried to quarantine them, but essentially what that did, they were infected, and then obviously eventually when they left, they infected others. So it's funny because he didn't want to acknowledge that this was an issue, and he said, quote unquote, is that I didn't want to disturb or worry the American people with this issue. Now we end up getting the whole,
Now look at the situation. So at the end of the day, some people are still not going to take it though. So
I mean, did you see some of the videos of I saw Pence take it? I hear Obama's going to take it.
I feel like every politician might take a placebo and call it a day.
Imagine it.
Because they
we
know.
Don't know really. I mean, who's to say?
Yeah,
but I do trust some of the politicians.
I do trust them. In the beginning, they were trying to give it to a minority. They're like, no, you don't give it to a minority. Let the white folks take it first.
Yeah, exactly.
The one that complains so much about how wearing masks.
Yeah, that don't want to wear the mask.
Yeah, go ahead. Go take it first.
It's funny, through all these people, at least that are showing Trump hasn't been one of them, and he wasn't infected.
Trump didn't say
He
not
said, "I
one-
might be immune."
You know the funny thing about it? The last couple of weeks, Trump did not say one word until they try to pass the bill for $600 per person.
Yeah,
After they
because you wanted to adjust some of the
but after the
language in
Democrats just trying to pass the $2,000 bill, then he trying to say he shut down the $2,000 for the Democrats, and then come back. Oh, I told him $2,000 bill is a
there.
listen.
They need more. I want to
As a-
give them more.
As I said before, he takes all the good credits and
Mhm.
never take the bad.
Mhm.
That's Trump's in a nutshell. Now, we might hear from him another 4 years. We're going to hear from him every single day now. But let him stay in his corner and go with Donnie, with his daughter that he wants to bang for some reason, and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
Hopefully Ivanka don't divorce his ass. She look like she about to divorce him.
It depends if they have a prenup. I mean,
Yeah.
he said he's worth somewhere around $1 billion and change.
Whatever he's worth.
So she, I'm assuming she'll get some half, depends on how the prenup is,
What?
right?
Hell out of here.
But so as far as like number one, at least there's so many millions of people that have died through this pandemic. It's tragic. There's a lot of loved ones out there that suffered because of it. So at least otherwise, we feel like 2021 we have an answer to the question.
We do.
The question have
We do.
been essentially death, right?
Yeah.
Or
We do.
close
But
to it.
yeah, so that wraps up today's episode. But 2021, here we come, baby.
Honorable mentions.
What's the honorable mention?
The Fellascorner podcast.
Hey, 2020 was a rough ride, but Fellas Corner podcast was born in July of 2020.
That's right.
So at the end of the day, I'm grateful for 2020.
And now we're going video.
Yep.
Now for you fans out there, we're going video.
We're going video. We're trying. We're working on here. We still got some stuff we got to work out, but we are working on here. So as I said before, 2020 was a tough year, but at the end of everything, 2020 was still a great year because it taught you a lot of other things that you did not know that you know now.
Yeah.
Whether it's what kind of friends you have, whether you could start a podcast, whether you could start investing,
Right.
whether you could start a new job or a different way of doing your current job. 2020 was different, and that's what I like about 2020. You do learn a lot of things from tragic things happening. I always tell people, you don't know the good stuff until the bad stuff happens first. So it's love your family, love your kids, love your job. If you don't like your job, get rid of your job. Love what you do. Join a hobby. I think next year I'm going to start taking pictures because, that's my thing now.
Why not?
So love who you love. Support your family. Love your friends. Love whoever you love. Love your loved ones. But 2020, what you got to say, OG?
I say 2021 is what I'm looking forward to. I'm excited about what Fellascorner is going to bring. I'm excited about, my family, friends, and how they're going to be more positive to what the 2021 is going to bring. I'm going to try to do something different as well. More so, I want to get into investments. I guess I'm going to pick your ear a lot on that. How to get more, how to have my money make money. You know what I mean? So
your money make money.
Exactly. So I'm excited about that. And you know what? What I'm really excited too about, and you love music, I love music. I just can't wait to some of the new acts that's out there, some of the new styles and music that's coming out. Because a lot of them that couldn't make music because of the quarantine, like some, we can go on and on about artists, but some of the artists that couldn't meet up, couldn't do anything, 2021, you would feel like a lot of them will be able to do so. So there's going to be a lot of great music coming out. I'm excited for sports, and I'm ready. I'm ready for the world.
2021, here we come. We'll see you next 2021. All right?
That's right. Till next time.
Till next time.